Hi, everybody. Lex Gray here. Welcome to another Lex Talk episode. This will actually not be a Warhammer or RPG video. Be a little different. This will be my favorite top 10 movies of 2025 so far. It is October 14th today, so obviously there will be some, hopefully, other good movies coming out later this year. Roofman with Channing Tatum comes out, I think, or is already out, and I'll be seeing that this weekend, so that might be a favorite of mine. We'll see. So I have obviously 10 favorites. These are, in my opinion, my favorites. Your list might differ. And please, as I always like to mention, list your favorite movies. I really want to see your list and get your opinion if you want. Five, you don't have to do 10, a few movies. It's up to you. So, with the 10 movies I have on here, which was very hard put together, and I want to say these are in order of my favorite, but obviously, tomorrow I might be like, these movies might flip. It's always hard to do a top 10. I know a lot of people out there like to just do a top 10 and not in any specific order. I like to try to do the order method because it really challenges me to think critical of certain films at, on the spur of the moment. And then there are a remaining list of movies that I considered but didn't make the cut. So, again, to me, these movies are my favorite so far, and some of the ones on the honorable mention list are debatably good. To you, you might hate a few of them, you might like them. Again, I encourage you to list your opinion on any of these movies if you want to, if you have seen them. So, we'll begin on number 10, working our way up a list to my number one favorite. So, 10 is at the bottom of the barrel, but not meaning in quality. Number 10, and I'll also try to talk about the movie in some extent. I'm not doing a full on review. Maybe I'll talk about something my favorite element of the movie. So, number 10 is Freaky Tales. This was a bizarre 80s like movie that I feel like might turn into a cult classic. It has Pedro Pascal. Surprise, surprise. He's like in every other movie this year. It's a very fun movie. If I recall correctly, it takes scenes take place from different perspectives in the same time. So everything kind of like runs up together like traffic, I believe, if I'm recalling that movie correctly. But yeah, it's a very bizarre film. It's very fun. The visuals, it's gory. Again, if I'm recalling the correct movie. But Pedro Pascal's character is by far my favorite. There's an assortment of other characters and scenes that happen that you have to kind of follow. But yeah, it's a fun movie. It is very strange. I think there's some supernatural elements in it, but overall, it's a great movie. If you like 80s or 90s vibes, this movie is probably for you. I think it's more 90s, but overall, it was a fun trip. Um, and I did not expect it to be that good. The trailer obviously made it out to be a fun, bizarre film, and that is something that I got out of it. So that's Freaky Tales. That's number 10. Now, number 9 was a huge expectation to fill because the last one was so good. I love the whole evil rogue AI, and I'm talking, of course, about Mission Impossible, the previous one. I think the Reckoning. This was the closure. This was the final reckoning. It was almost as good as the previous one. That's why it's number 9. But I still highly enjoyed it, and I was happy to see that things worked out in some manner. I don't recall if the world is like in the movie, is the world is like has no more technology or like data or cell phone signal or anything like that or Wi-Fi. They didn't really. I might be forgetting at the moment, but I don't recall if they really stated what happened. If again, but anyways, the AI was contained. Oh, sorry, don't mean to spoil. There will be spoilers in this video if I consider the moment. But yeah, the AI was contained, and the action scenes, the set pieces are as expected, spectacular, and that's one of the reasons why it's on the list. Story wise and action, acting, it's all as expected. The Mission Impossible movies are very consistent, in my opinion. More consistent than other longer running franchise movies like Fast and Furious, which for me it's very up and down. But yeah, it was a fun movie, almost as good as the previous one. That's why it's kind of at the lower part of the list. Number 8 is a lesser known film that I'm sure flew under the radar for a lot of you guys. Relay. So Relay, I don't recognize much of the cast. They are B movie uh, actors and actresses, but they're all great. Relay is an interesting movie because I think out of all the movies on this list, besides number 6, it has, or number 2 actually, it has the most unique story. It has one of the most unique stories. So basically, it's a guy that helps people return things stolen, like whistleblowers that are returning voluntarily returning something to a company so that this big corporation does not track them down and capture them or kill them. So this guy works for a relay service. He works as a mediary, basically like a middleman, to communicate to both the corporation that's hunting this person down and the whistleblower, the victim, to return the stolen goods back to the corporation. And so this is one I don't want to spoil because it's a great twist. Now the twist is debatably debatably ineffective to an extent, but I did like it. It depends on the wow factor of the twist. I can't say I saw it coming, but I'm sure a lot of people did. Again, if you've seen Relay and you remember the twist, let me know what you guys think. For me, I thought it wasn't as effective as how they revealed it, but I did like the idea, like the premise behind the twist, like what this person was doing the entire time seems like a lot of effort, but it did work out. Well, not for the bad guys, but it did work out in a sense. So again, Relay has a very interesting story on this list, and that will be and the action was kind of toned, kind of controlled. It wasn't as there's not a lot of action. There's a lot of talking, a lot of development in it, in the story, and the thriller. More like a thriller, suspense, not exactly an action-packed scene. Because when there's an action in the movie, an action scene, which is where the twist really happens, it's very meh. This is not very effective, but I still loved the movie in all respect. Okay, number seven is the only animated movie I think. Yep, this year, and I have a tendency to see a lot of anime movies. The Bad Guys 2. The first one, holy crap, I loved it. That one really caught me off guard. I'm going to be saying that a lot because there are a lot of movies where the trailers don't do it justice, and I see it. The Bad Guys 2, the first Bad Guys was phenomenal. I did not expect it to be that damn good. Same thing with like Puss in Boots, The Final Wish, The Last Wish. That was one of my favorite movies, I think, last year. Um, I think it was last year. The style was amazing, which The Bad Guys 2 has the same style. The Bad Guys 2 was just on par with the original. It was equally as good. I already knew who the characters were, so like I didn't have that, huge intake of like likability for the characters. I already knew who they were. And I liked the way the movie was going, like the new characters they introduced, the female bad girls or whatever they call themselves, and the whole like phenomenal the final moment in the scene with the rocket, which is in the trailer, so I'm not exactly spoiling anything. But that was a great movie. The animation is like the style of how animation is going nowadays is absolutely amazing, and the voice acting is great. Each character is so damn likable. They're all on equal playing ground right now. They're just dealing with those the bad girls or bad ladies, what they call themselves. I like this. It's definitely my favorite anime movie this year. Next one is number six is the Toxic Avenger, which is I think a remake. I never saw the original if it's a reboot or a remake. I unfortunately never saw the original from the 80s, 90s. Again, I don't recall. I just been told by a friend of mine that it's a remake, and this one has Peter Dinklage, who I've seen a handful of movies with, like obviously the second X-Men reboot franchise with the day something tomorrow. I don't recall. Again, I'm sorry, it's been a while, but the second X-Men movie after First Class, which was great. Anyways, Peter Dinklage as the Toxic Avenger. I cannot compare to the original, so I cannot say. This was holy crap, off the wall, bizarre fun, much like Freaky Tales, but it's obviously one character, one story. It's in my eyes, it's a parody. Like this movie was so fun and bizarre, it felt like a parody. Like Peter Dinklage is absolutely hilarious in this, and this movie I think will be overlooked, but definitely not overlooked by I'm assuming the crowd of the original fans of the original. I want to hear your thoughts if you've seen the original Toxic Avenger. Don't know if it's a movie or show. I'm assuming it was a movie, but I think it was before my generation, unfortunately. And how what you think of how the new one is, because again, it is insane. Um, yeah, I liked it, and Kevin Bacon. Yep, I believe he was in it. He was the big bad in the end, as usual. It was phenomenal. He was great. I mean, they were all, yeah, loved it. I saw it last minute. I did not, I wasn't really sure what to expect. The trailer looks great. I'm a huge what do you call it? I just love 80s, 90s themed movies, or kind of that sense, that style of movies. And yeah, that was it's hilarious. It's so purposely low budget and like purposely bad to an extent, but not like, oh, this is so terrible. It's like this is makes sense why it's purposely trying to be bad and over the top. So I'm not talking like The Room, where like a director Tommy Wiseau trying so hard to make a good movie that turns out to be total shit. This movie was obviously knows what it is, and it did it so damn well. So number six was Toxic Avenger. Number five, I did not expect to like, or actually love it because it's number five. I never saw the original, and I don't think I did the original animated movie, How to Train Your Dragon. I saw them talking about the little live action remake or reboot. I don't know if it's scene by scene, but How to Train Your Dragon. Holy crap. This was a good movie. The trailer looked meh to me, but this was great. I really loved it. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it. Maybe because I had dragons in it. I got into D&D a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, and I just started to like dragons and content and fantasy movies material. So maybe that's why. But again, like I never seen any of the How to Train Your Dragon movies, and this one was just it hit the spot. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the original creator, the director or writer of the original animated movie. So this guy had the opportunity to make a live action adaptation of his own material. Correct me if I'm wrong. He did it really well. So I really liked it. Again, this is one of the biggest movies, like Freaky Tales, that caught me off guard of how good it was. Yeah, it was just really good. So I'll leave it at that. Now, number four is actually the only comic book movie on here, which I'm surprised. I'm a huge comic book movie nerd, especially this year. Superman, everything else coming out, Fantastic Four. So about that, that'll be on the. It's on honorable mention. I don't mind spoiling that right now. Thunderbolts. This was my favorite Marvel, the comic book movie this year. I've seen a few of the comic book movies so far this year, and this one hit the spot. The story was simple. It was not overblown, despite the big bad villain of the Void. I'm a huge fan of Sentry from the comics. In my opinion, I think they did pretty well portraying him. I was waiting for the Sentry to show up finally, like how they finally brought Galactus to the MCU. I'm a huge fan of Galactus. Yeah, Sentry was great. He was mentally twisted, and this kid just got the powers of a god, almost a demigod, and he's unstoppable. But the Void is his alternate half. It's like his dark side, which makes sense. So I liked his story, but I more so liked the new. I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. The new Black Widow. She is great. Uh, and her father, shoot, I forgot his name. The guy from Stranger Things. I'm so sorry. I forgot his name too. He played Hellboy, I think, recently, but he's always good in every movie. At least from the movies I've seen, he's always good. So him and the Red Guardian, I think. So him and the Black Widow and the Red Guardian, those two were the best. Winter Soldier was in it. He was kind of toned it down a little bit. He wasn't. He was there. He did great. But like, I loved everyone else. Like the new, the soldier, the new Captain America, dollar store Captain America. I think they make a joke about him. I don't recall like their hero names. Ghost, the one who can kind of move around reality through her powers. And then there's one more I'm missing. I think that's it. It's basically those four or five. I'm sure I'm missing one, but one they kill off one early in the film. The Taskmaster. They kill her off. She dies. So you have I forgot her name. I think it starts with a Y. Black Widow, Red Guardian, the Soldier. I could be wrong there, and Ghost. I want to say there's one more. I think I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, well Winter Soldier, obviously. So you have those five or so in it, and their chemistry is fantastic. And then eventually Sentry pops in the crowd, hops into the picture, unknowingly, and he is insanely powerful. But yeah, it was a great movie. It was fun. I loved the whole scene when they go into the void and they try to find him. Yeah, Bob, I think his name was, which I think the same actor played Bob from the last Top Gun film, if I'm not mistaken, the same Bob name, and I'm pretty sure the actor commented about that before making this film. I could be mistaken. I've seen it. I think I saw a report about that somewhere. But yeah, it's a fun movie. There's a good amount of action. There's a good amount of drama with it, especially the chemistry between um, Black Widow and her father is amazing. And then the group's chemistry as they kind of join together, involve, they have to join together to stop this dragon level threat, this earth shattering threat. Was just, yeah, it was very, very good movie. And I'm glad they toned down the whole multiverse thing, which just the void is just another pocket dimension of this guy's powers. So yeah, it's focused on just one small group, which I like those kind of movies, like the Guardians of the Galaxy films. Just one small groups of misfits. They're basically, none of them are matches at all, but they all have to work together and they eventually find common ground. They're not perfect in any way. They all have their own problems and they all state that pretty often. And it works out really well. So kudos to the team, the cast and crew. It was a great movie, my favorite Marvel movie of the or favorite comic book movie of the year. This one I did not expect to like as much as I did. The Accountant 2. So Ben Affleck and John Barathol. I always mispronounce his last name, I think. This one, wow, it was. I don't remember the first one too well. I know I've seen it once or twice, but this one, I'm glad I know the basics of the characters. Like, yeah, they're brothers. Got it. They, yeah, so they're tasked to find a kidnapped child from cartels or somewhere in Mexico. There's a lot of epic action, gun shootout scenes. It's a shoot 'em up movie with a very simple story. But the chemistry between Ben Affleck and John Bernthal was phenomenal. Like, holy crap. Like, they really do act like brothers. Like, one's older than the other. And obviously, Ben Affleck's character has I don't know if he's autistic. I don't recall. They mention it like briefly in the film, or John Bernthal questions him about it. Like, is it your thing? But the chemistry is great. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about the whole autistic thing. I don't want to be I don't want to offend anybody with that about that. But yeah, the accountant too, and the action scene in the end. Wow, it was really good. The ending was very satisfying. It's like kind of I'm spoiler. It's a happy ending. Everything works out. I liked it. Like it's just the production quality is great. The camera work is good. The music was great. Yeah, there's a reason why it's in the top three, and I'm sure to a lot of people be like, wait, you have the accountant 2 on your top five? It's like, yes, I do. Like, that's just how much I liked it. Again, a lot of these are hard to choose from. And yeah, I really liked that. It was just a really good movie. And I think the reviews were actually very favorable too, or like an improvement over the original. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Accountant 2. I'm not a huge Ben Affleck fan, but like I really liked him in this. All right, number 2. This one is touchy. Like I don't want to, I'm not an expert about warfare or anything. Number 2 is called Warfare. This one is so straightforward and just ungodly perfect. Um, I don't know what to say. Like, okay, it takes place in Iraq. There's obviously a battalion of military soldiers who get stuck in an apartment in Iraq, and they have to escape. They were doing some mission there. These guys are like just in a random assortment of soldiers, and the realism like it puts aside, at least I'm not an expert on gunfire or weapons. It's pretty obvious, or like warfare in general, but I'm assuming everything that was on screen was like per the accounts of actual witness testimony, or like the actual people from the event that happened, that where it's based on. So warfare, there's no, I don't recall much music. It is strictly the environment. You see it. There is no like Hollywood flair. It's just the group, these groups of soldiers, this platoon, and they get shot at. There's grenades. There's rocket fired. There's like a focus on strictly the American military soldiers. These I don't know if they're like special ops. I don't want to mistake it. Army Rangers. I just don't want to say the wrong thing, but they are obviously just a group of like, I think there's like six or a dozen, somewhere between six to a dozen of them, and they get caught up in the most worst predicament. They get shot up and they're surrounded by enemies. So they have to just call in for backup or for pickup, and a couple tanks show up. I guess it's obviously based on a true story, and they do show some of the actual veterans who were there. The The sound effects, by far the best experience I've ever had in a movie with sound effects. The environment, the visuals, your ears ring like you feel like your ears are ringing from a grenade that's like several feet away. Um, yeah, the sniper scene, like that, the guy's holding a sniper, the grenade gets thrown through the hole. It's like, oh shit, what do you do? So yeah, these guys are like all specialists in their certain department. Like they all know what to do. I don't want to. I don't know if like the best of the best. Again, I just don't know. Um, it's just they all do what they need to do. There are some. There's a lot of gore. It's realistic. There's some people who I don't recall if anyone did not make it. I don't want to say, but the again, what you're looking at is a real interpretation, a real telling of what obviously happened to the accounts of the actual veterans that were there. So that's why when I saw the trailer, I'm like, this looks good. Like I don't know how to judge it just yet, but I want to see it. And when I saw it, I was sitting there for like 5 to 15 minutes, 15 minutes of the credits. I'm like, holy shit! Like, what did I just see? Was this like Saving Private Ryan moment? Like, and for anybody who's seen Saving Private Ryan in theaters, which I don't think I did, but please tell me your opinion. Like, what's your favorite warfare film of all time? Like realistic warfare, not like some Hollywood spinach, added to it, but one that actually shows you the realism of war, from either Vietnam or anything, and then compare it to Warfare if you've seen it. I just, yeah, the movie's great, and it does not show the enemies that much. You can see them in the distance, but everything is located. Camera work, the setup is located from the perspective of the internal of the actual team. Sorry, cameras. There we go. From the platoon. If I'm using that word correctly, again, I don't want to act like I'm an expert on all this stuff, but from a moviegoer standpoint, this was so fucking good, and I have to excuse my language there, but it was fucking good. This was a great movie, and there's a reason why it's number two. Now, that's number two. It sounds like it should be number one, but I love movies of all shapes and sizes. I just Warfare and this one were like back and forth. This is an actual. This is a movie. It's definitely from Hollywood. It has the gripping acting and camera work and cinematics and story and everything. The drama. F1 movie. The F1 movie. The Formula One racing movie. Everyone's like, why? I don't know. I have no interest in racing. NASCAR, Formula One, drag racing. I have no interest in racing whatsoever. I'm not part of that crowd. What got me into it was Hans Zimmer. If I'm not mistaken, this was his music. And wow. With his music, this movie propped it up 100% for me. 200%. I loved everything about this movie. The acting was phenomenal. The chemistry between Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt was the best on the list here. Brad Pitt, I typically like his movies, especially like Burn After Reading, even though he was like killed in the closet really quick by George Clooney, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this movie was just holy shit. It was fun. Um, the camera work is fantastic. I believe it's the same guy who made the recent Top Gun sequel, which explains the visuals. Hans Zimmer did again, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really referencing anything here. This is off the top of my head, which is a personal challenge of mine. But yeah, F1 movie was to me my favorite movie this year, and I'll be honest with you guys, it was one of the lower expectations on my list before I saw it, and it comes out to be my favorite movie of the year. And it's been my favorite so far, actually, since I saw it. Nothing's really replaced it. It's almost closer with Warfare. But yeah, I have great respect for this film. The cast, every character was likable. That's a hard thing to say. Like, when you see a movie, you really hate a few people, a few characters. You like a few others. There are some that just kind of fade away in the background. You never see them. Every single character, part of the crew, that as from Change the Tires to Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt's position as the driver, they're all likable. All of them. I enjoyed. I didn't hate a single one. Even the rival, the kid who's like the young kid. He's stubborn, but he's very very talented. I don't recall their names. Again, it's been a while. But yes, he was great. Their chemistry was great. Javier Bardem was fantastic as usual. And the young driver, the old driver parallel was fantastic. They did very well in doing that. And the final moments in the film before the big win, as expected, with Brad Pitt, he's in the moment. As he talked about it, like you're in this moment. It's like the inner zen. Everything around you is off. Like it's just tuned out, and all you can see is the track and you're racing. Holy shit, that part, like in Warfare, I know it's a very like odd comparison. I do apologize. Like you're comparing Warfare to a Hollywood film, but I just have to mention it. The moment he's driving in that scene, and it's just there's no like tire screeching sound effects. There's no cheering. It's his face and the wheel in front of him, and the music. Hans Zimmer kicks up in 10th, 12th gear, whatever. I'm not a car guy. High octane. It's just you're sitting there like you feel like you're in the car in the seat of the car of the race car. I was like, holy shit, this is it. Like he's gonna win it, and he is like he feels unstoppable at the moment. And he talked about this literally in another scene earlier, and I think in Vegas it was a race. Yeah, so his character's flawed. Like he had a gripping accident in his earlier life, and he quit racing, or he quit Formula racing, and then he went to like racing, I think NASCAR and a few other oddball jobs here and there. And in the end of the movie, like he actually goes to go race in I think Mexico, Baja, somewhere in the Baja Peninsula, if I'm not mistaken, like drag racing or like racing on dunes. Dune, I don't know what's called, dune racing. Um, yeah, like his character kind of bounces from job to job, and he is just extremely talented. He's just on the older side, and then the young driver in the movie is very stubborn but very talented also. Like they're both talented, but they have their own conflicting problems. And that chemistry, that back and forth causes trouble for Javier Bardem, who is the owner of the team, and he's on his last straw. Like, the owners want to out him because they haven't won any races until, of course, Brad Pitt eventually does win the game, win the race for them because the younger kid is having trouble. They lost another racer, so Javier Bardem goes to Brad Pitt for help because he remembers he's talented, but besides the accident. And unfortunately, the kid gets injured for a couple of weeks because of a daring move that caused a huge problem crash. So Brad Pitt was the star driver, and they started to climb the ranks. And the kid came back, and that chemistry continued a bit. But then they finally learned to get along or to work together. It wasn't too cliche in my opinion. Like it has that path, but they did it really well. I like movies that can take the cliche and go with it, but make it really well. Like gift wrap it with a great big bow. Like if that makes any sense. So those are my favorite top 10 films of the year. Now I'm going to go through my honorable mentions. Some of these actually I wasn't too fond of, but I liked part of them. And I'll get to that here in a second. Okay, so I just have to go through my list, make sure I'm not repeating myself. Any ones I crossed out, the ones I moved over to my top 10. I basically listed 20 movies that I remember from this year. Obviously, I looked online for some refreshers. And here we go. These are no list. These are just randomly, these are like in a pile of names. So the first one is Mickey 17. This one was a good movie. Very good. I think the creator, the director, he did Parasite. I don't recall his name. I think he's a South Korean filmmaker, director. I apologize for any of his fans. I don't remember his name, but this was a good movie. Now, the trailer hyped it up a little too much for me. I was looking forward to it a lot. But when I saw the movie, it was a little weak in some parts, maybe the latter half. But I liked it overall. It was great. I give it like a solid B plus in my opinion. I want to know what any of the fans, again, if I'm not mistaken, anyone who's a fan of the director of Parasite, what you thought of Mickey 17. Next is Fantastic Four. This one, let's just say, compared to Superman and Fantastic Four, because they came out almost at the same time, I liked Fantastic Four more. But was it worth the top 10? Very close. Like Mickey 17 was very close. I still enjoyed it. I loved seeing Galactus finally on the big screen, live action, besides like videos, his footage from games or from cartoons, the 90s. But yeah, Galactus, did they do him right? Justice? I don't know. Like I thought he was menacing. He wasn't really entirely the focus. He was the problem, but he's not really the main focus. It was Reed Richards and Franklin Richards being born. So the whole family dynamic. They did it really well. I did like the choice for Johnny Blaze. if that's his name, if I'm recalling correctly. I think that's actually the Ghost Rider. I do apologize. Human Torch. I know that's his name, but I don't remember his name. His first name was Johnny something. So I probably caught myself on that one. But overall, great movie. The Thing, they did great. Um, they all did great. A great family dynamic. The powers were fun. The action scenes were fun, but it wasn't better than Thunderbolts in my opinion. Even though it had that black hole scene with the Silver Surfer going after them and they trick her. That scene was intense. Like holy shit, that scene was intense. But it wasn't enough to prop it up on the top 10 list for me. Still though, there's a lot of movies this year has been so fucking good for movies. It is difficult to say which is better than the other, besides the my top 10 actual movies. Next one's Companion, which has the actor from the Boys show. I forgot his name. He has two movies in my honorable mention list. This was good. I'm not familiar with the female actress who plays the robot lady, but this was a good movie. I wasn't sure what to expect. I knew the basic idea that the trailer shows it. He basically gives this robot, this lady robot, has to some extent develops a sentience, develops a yeah, she becomes sentient and she starts to rebel in a way, but because of some code or programming issue or hack. If you guys seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. But overall, it's a good movie. Like it's a solid movie. I had no problems with it. It didn't feel too long. I liked the idea because it was all AI. I'm into that kind of stuff. Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like it was a good movie, but not a great movie to put on my list. It was just I remembered it. I'm like, oh yeah, that one needs to go in my honorable mentions. So that was a good solid film. The ending kind of twisted. Like it, yeah. I'll leave it at that. Okay, I'm a huge fan of old 80s, 90s parody films. This was The Naked Gun, which Seth MacFarlane produced. I don't know how much actual uh, how much he actually had in the making of the film during production or pre-production, production, film, and editing. But yeah, Naked Gun was surprisingly really good. I thought the first trailer looked like total shit, and when I saw it, I was blown away by how funny it was. I was laughing quite a bit, and that seems to be a fairly consistent consensus of the film from other viewers, especially some online reviewers. Everyone seemed to really enjoy it. It has comedy tropes of all categories, different types of comedy: slapstick, dry humor, wet humor, background humor, foreground humor. It has it all. Like it tries everything to an extent. Doesn't go overboard. There are jokes in almost every single fucking camera angle. It gets tiring after a while. They don't try to force it down your throat that from the old ones, like where we're they make fun of the fact that they're a reboot or remake, however you want to see it, or direct sequel. It's hard to say, but they don't force it down your throat. Be like, yeah, we're here, we're better. They don't do that. Like they try to make it their own. The film knows it's a Naked Gun movie, and it's silly. It's very silly. The story is really stupid as usual. Leslie Nielsen, holy shit, the guy does good. He does good in comedies, like Ted, since Ted, his cameo in Ted, A Million Ways to Die in the West, which was I thought really good, another good movie. Yeah, this was a great film. My One of my favorite comedies of the year. Actually, no, my favorite comedy of the year until I think I'm going to see Running Man here coming up, which is another mention I hope it makes my list because I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan since Baby Driver, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. Yeah, the guy makes great movies. I think he did Scott Pilgrim. I believe he did. So yeah, Naked Gun was a solid comedy. Kind of a one-time shot for me, like a one shot. I saw it twice. The second time, like, yeah, I laughed as much, but like it didn't, the laughs don't hit as much, and which is unfortunate because I don't want to go on a tangent here, but like for me, I still always go back to watching comedies in the '90s or '80s and '90s. Those still make me laugh in tears. And nowadays, if there's a really good comedy, which is rare, I usually just watch that one time and call it a day. I never really go back to it. I don't know why. That's just me. Maybe it's a nostalgic factor. Kind of you're in that lane. You never really bother looking out to anyone other movies. Um, what do you call it? It's like nostalgia goggles. I forgot the term. So Naked Gun's a fun movie. It was a laugh. My family went to see it. My dad's a huge fan of the original Naked Gun movie. He thought it's okay. If he thinks it's okay because he's a very he's hard to make. He loves like old Three Stooges kind of parody slapstick humor. So if he thought it was okay, I'm thinking, yeah, this movie's going to be a lot of people like this movie. So and yeah, the fact that Priscilla or not Priscilla Presley, she was in it briefly, like for a split second. You can actually see her, if I'm not mistaken. You can see her in some kind of like quick cutaway. They show her face. But anyways, Pamela Anderson and Leslie Nielsen, at least from what I remember, they are dating. I think that's the most adorable thing ever. The fact that they fell in love in this movie and they actually date in real life after or like during the film. I don't recall when it started. That is like that brings me envy. Like that makes me so happy. Like that these two. I know Leslie Nielsen. I think Les. I'm sorry. Liam Neeson. My apologies. Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson are dating. It's nothing new. They've been dating since the movie's release, I think. And the fact that Liam Neeson lost his wife some time ago. I don't have the year in mind, but he lost his wife. Um, and the fact that he's able to find Pamela Anderson, they fall in love because of the movie. I think it's just absolutely adorable, and it's like it's beyond TMZ reporting. It's just like really actual. It's good news in a time of a lot of bad news in the world. So stuff like that. When I saw it hit the news cycle, I'm like, sigh of relief. Like there is good out there. So yeah, again, I'm not here to talk about gossip. I barely even bother with that stuff. TMZ, like Hollywood Flair. When I saw that, I'm like, yeah, we need that right now. Okay, so that's Naked Gun. Here's another one. I want to say this is the actor who played Elvis in the recent film, Caught Stealing. This movie with Matt Smith, I want to say, the Doctor Who. Matt Smith was in it. This movie was fun. A great movie. The acting was very steady, consistent. The lady that played Catwoman from the Batman movie, Zoe, I forgot her name. But yeah, she's great in it too. A lot of characters, spoiler warning, die. But it's a really good movie. Like it's fun to watch. The stories are actually really good. I like the story. It takes place I think in New York, I want to say. And yeah, it's trippy. Like there's a lot of things that happen just really unfortunate for the main character. He gets caught up in just some bad shit because of Matt Smith. It just has to do with money. It's always money. It has to do with money and the cat. Like I love cats. Like I have a cat myself. I never thought I would become a cat person, but like when I adopted my cat since like 20 or like almost 10 years ago. Yeah, I really like I love cats. They're great pets. Self-contained, but still very friendly and spend time with them. Um, but like this movie had a cat. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna see it. But yeah, besides that, great movie. So really enjoyed it. Now, next mention is Superman. It was okay. Liked it. I felt like I was hyping myself up too much for it. Don't know if that was because of the effect of the fans or the news cycle, but yeah, I liked it. Okay, so yeah, that's Superman. I'm a huge James Gunn fan. I think he's one of the greatest directors for comic book movies, like the Guardians of the Galaxy. His recent Creature Commandos, first official, like the new DCU universe was great and fun. Superman was good. Uh, his Peacemaker series by far the best out of anything DC in my eyes. And I finished seeing the new Peacemaker season two. I loved it. I liked it more than the first one. The first one was also really phenomenal. Now, fans seem to think that the last episode was kind of a letdown. I disagree. It was more of the whole family entanglement and the drama. I thought it was necessary. It wasn't a cameo fest. The last two episodes were like fucking amazing. They're the best. But I really did like the last episode. Plus, it sets up the whole checkmate company that Ads wants to do. So yeah, I actually really did like the closure. Everyone else was talking shit about it. I was like, oh man. And then when I finally saw, it, I'm like, this is actually really good. So, and the acting from the actress who plays Ads, holy shit, she was good. And dude, John Cena, like this is John Cena. Like you barely see the guy on camera, like he's never there. But the fact he adds so good, he's so fucking good. I'm sure you guys get the joke, but yeah, he's amazing at like James Gunn is good at pulling out the acting chops of anybody. Like they don't have to be a famous actor. He make anyone the chemistry great with anyone, and just the whole team is phenomenal. And my gosh, goddamn Rick Flag Senior. Holy, everyone hates his character right now, obviously. So yeah, that's a separate. That might be a separate video, but again, my YouTube channel is not really devoted to movies or shows. I'm not like emergency awesome or anything. But yeah, this is one of my rare videos. I don't talk about D&D or rolling dice to war games. Anyways, Superman, it was good. Kind of a letdown in some parts. Lex Luthor, played by I forgot his name, the British actor. Um, he's always good in his material, but I don't know. I'm mixed on him. I did like him in the middle where he was ruthless. Like there was the scene where they're in that pocket dimension, the prison, and Superman has that um, metamorpho. I want to say the guy with the power to change into anything. He has the kryptonite in his hand, and Superman is helpless. So that friend who sells him things, the vendor, the food stall vendor that helps him sell or gives him, obviously some food. A friend of his, it gets mercilessly shot by Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor just brushes off like, oh, you know what? All right, next. Like that is a Lex Luthor that I was expecting beyond that point. But after that, he was back to his original self in the film. Like they're doing all the moves and in the fighting scene, the whole like this potential Bizarro clone was interesting. Um, as usual, the team on the sidelines was the best in my opinion. I liked all the Superman bots in the Fortress of Solitude. The fact Alan Tudyk, I think his name from Firefly, voices him. Number six. I forgot his name that he gave himself. Shoot. Anyways, yeah, it was not a letdown by any means. It was not as good as I wanted it to be. I might be a victim of my own hype on that in the department, but I know a lot of people who loved it, and that's also fair to say. So yeah, Superman was definitely a good movie. Just it did not edge out Fantastic Four or Thunderbolts for me. But I'm still looking forward to the DCU. I think Peacemaker is going to do very well for what James Gunn is trying to set up with Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, the Man of Tomorrow movie that's planned to be the next Superman. I think there's a Catwoman or a Super Girl movie that's going to be out next year, 2 years from now. Anyways, next is a very quick mention. This one is the same actor. I forget his name. He was in Companion. These two came out. I actually confused them for the same movie at one moment. Novocaine. This was great. Like now, for Companion and Novocaine, to compare his two movies, I would say Novocaine was a little better. It was high octane fun. It was straightforward story. There's a twist. That's it. It's a very simple film. He does not feel pain, so it kind of takes on the superhero persona just for briefly because he has to go save the girl, the love of his life, his love interest. And it turns out, spoiler, she's part of the whole crime robbery setup thing. So it goes south, and yeah, so but it's a kind of a happy ending, but yeah, he can't feel pain. I'm sure you guys seen the trailer; it was everywhere. I don't know if the movie did well, budget wise or box office wise, but to me, it was a fun movie. I really liked it. Again, very simple movie. Next one, I can't say much about because I've never seen the first one. I just happened to see the fight scene in the bus, but we just happened to see this one willy nilly because we wanted to see the action. Nobody two. This was another straightforward film. I like the cast. The family dynamic was fun. I don't know anything about the past film, the first one. I don't know anything about his career. I know he's some kind of top agent, or he gets paid to do things for some mob boss. I don't know. Again, I don't know the lore, but overall, it was a fun movie. Really, a lot of action. His character's kick ass. He does a lot of insane things. A friend of his shows up, or his adoptive brother, I think, shows up and helps out a lot. It was a great movie, and his family knows he does what he does, like he kills people for a living. And yeah, I thought it was great. Like we just wanted to see it for the action and the whole family dynamic, and it actually worked out. Last two movies on the list are I just saw this last 2 nights ago. The Smashing Machine. This one's about a couple of the original UFC fighters. I know another thing I don't know much about. I don't act like I know more about wrestling than I think I know about UFC, mixed martial arts. But um, yeah, this movie is. I really did like it. It's based on an actual story, on a real person, real people, real events. I don't know the credibility of what happened. I don't know much about UFC, but I want to see it because I'm a fan of The Rock. And He did phenomenal. He did really well. Like he was really working his way into the role, and as the movie went on, he got better. The Rock has some stinkers in his career, but he also has some really good hitters, like Hobbs and Shaw. My opinion is my favorite Rock movie of all time. So he can do good with the right director. And this one, the movie, it's an A24 film, I believe. They usually have pretty good films, kind of edging on artsy fartsy at times, but in my opinion, this was a solid film. It didn't make my top 10 list because it was very recent, but it had a great impact for me. And most of the time, there were some parts of it that are like, I'm a huge what do you call it? Guilty pleasure. I love Japan. I've never been there, unfortunately, but I want to go there so badly. I love the Japanese culture, the people, the technology, the anime, the architecture, the just I love everything Japan. And the fact they were, I think, if I recall correctly, there was parts of this movie that are in Japan because of the fight, the Pride, the fighting league that I think Pride something that has fights over there, and he has to travel back and forth. Emily Blunt was his love interest or wife, I believe they were married. She's kind of a toxic relationship. I like that part more than the actual fights. And then he has a friend of his, like a former trainer, best friend, like trainer turned best friend. Like they've been best friends for years. That was another great chemistry. I don't know if his best friend is an actual UFC fighter. He looked really familiar. Like I don't know where I've seen him from, and I haven't even bothered to research it. So I apologize about that. But like, I feel like he actually is a fighter, if I'm not mistaken, like The Rock is, or was. But yeah, like I did enjoy it, and I think for me, the best parts were Emily Blunt and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Their chemistry was very convincing. Again, in my eyes, he typically doesn't really do the serious films, and I think at least in recent memory, this is his most serious film. I cannot think of anything off the top of my head that he's done a serious movie in. No, nothing comes to mind. Anyways, there is one scene in the bathroom that is so insane, and I was not in tears, but I was close to it. I'm not embarrassed to say that, but it was so gripping. I was like, "Holy shit!" It happens in their house, and of course, again, they have problems. They have marital problems. He's never there. He's traveling on. He's a narcotic. He has addiction to narcotics, unfortunately, and that is kind of part of the movie story. She deals with it, but she has her own problems. I think she has a drinking problem at times. She goes out a lot. She kind of takes advantage of his. They really don't show her taking advantage of her money a lot, but they show her going out in one or two scenes. But it doesn't really imply like she's like spending endlessly spending his money frivolously, like randomly buying purses every day, or like going out and drinking, getting smashed. I like again, they don't show it too often, but they Emily Blunt is a great actress, and she one of my favorite movies of hers is the Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. Um, yeah, she's great in it, and they both had great chemistry. I was surprised to see how great The Rock did. There are some scenes he cries. He breaks down in tears, and how he portrays someone being addicted to narcotics, which I personally never really been around anybody that is or has been addicted to narcotics, so I can't really give you a like, oh yeah, that's how it is. But like, I'm assuming the way they did it is how it actually is. I don't want to say otherwise. I've never really been anybody around that problem per se. I've been around an alcoholic before. Um, 5 or so years ago. But narcotics, unfortunately, I can't really say. But the way he portrays it in the movie sense, it seems very convincing. Like he's staring at, he's not there. Like the lights are on, but no one's home, and then gets very like he's very relaxed. His eyes are kind of red, and he looks up. He talks to her. She tries to talk to him. He answers very simply. Then he gets overreactive. Again, it happens a handful of times in the film, and I'm speaking a lot about this movie because I just saw it, so it's very fresh in my mind. Every other movie on this list is like I have to recall it, and I'm sure I got things wrong. But Smashing Machine was a very good movie. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I do recommend it because I think it's still in theaters. The last movie for me is a huge. This one's going to take a bit. So one battle after another, one battle after another. This movie was fun, good movie. For me though, I wasn't sure what to make of the trailer. It looked odd, like it didn't really have a genre it wanted to sit in. So the genre, the trailer didn't really help me. It didn't really give me. I wanted to see because Edward Benicio del Toro was in it, and Leonardo DiCaprio, and a handful of other people. Or Sean Penn, I think. Sean Penn was holy crap. That guy was the best. Like that was he was the best part. The guy was insane. Like his character was just fuck nuts insane. But with that in mind, with all the political stuff happening right now, this movie is kind of relevant. So that's part of the reason I wanted to see it. I was curious how this is going to show itself now, much like a movie Civil War from a few years ago that came out, which I thought was a mixed bag for me. Like I really loved the idea, don't want it to happen, but I really like the idea in movie sense. And but there's parts of the movie the same. I think it was the same director who made Dread 3D from 2012, my favorite top movies of all time. The director has a tendency to focus on this little event team happening when everything else around me, like think of like the background behind me, like you only go up in that mountain, but you're stuck with me blabbering on about movies. Like that's how I feel like that he has a tendency to do it. So Civil War, we are following a group of reporters, the press, to go see the eventual defeat of the bad guy, the president. And I wanted to go really figure out what the hell is going on economically, geopolitics, like what's happening. Why is the California team to tell with Texas that will never happen? The Western forces, there's like different factions of like the countries or regions or territories. Like I wanted to know more about the lore, but we were following and the press and depressed. And then the final scene with the death of I forget her name. She was from Spider-Man. I forgot. Kristen Dunst. Um, Her death scene was kind of cheesy in my eyes. It was supposed to be very gripping, but that scene was intense. The White House raid, but like her death scene was portrayed. I felt like it was too artsy fartsy at times. That really the movie should have been. I was really more interested about the lore of the movie. Plus the whole scene, that crazy guy from Battle Battlefield or anyways, the guy I forgot his name, but he's like the backwoods territory kind of has the gun. He has the main characters in his backyard or in his on his land, and he just shoots them without question. Like that scene was intense and was insane, and I just wanted to see more of like that kind of coverage around what's going on because the people characters drive through everything and they get to experience things, but like I don't know. I just felt like there could have been more seen in the lore. But overall, Civil War was a good movie. It just the artsy fartsy, if you want to consider it that, kind of held it back in my eyes. Sorry, I'm off topic. That does kind of have a similar situation here. So one bad off after another um, is a really good movie. The characters hold it up. The whole situation holds it up. Just the first half, I don't know what the fuck was going on. Not the story, kind of, but the theme. I just don't know what to think of it. Like, is this a comedy? Is it a thriller? Is it a suspense? It was all over the place. I just did not know what was going on. Like, what do I get out of all this? And then the minute it jumps to the present, DiCaprio's character has his daughter with him, or daughter, quote unquote. Um, Well, yeah, still his daughter. Doesn't like blood or not, blood related. It's still his daughter, and that's how they are, and that's all that matters. That is when I really, really liked it. Like the second half of the movie, I loved. It was fun. The driving scenes, like through those loopy hills, was intense, and Sean Penn's first death scene was hilarious. Well, it was unexpected. I should say, not hilarious. I take that back. It was unexpected. I did not expect his first death because like he survives, but I did not expect that to happen. The other car shoots him in the. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But again, he was the he was by far the standout. Really hated his character, which is a good thing because he did that well that I want to hate his character. DiCaprio did great. Del Toro did great. I wanted more of the Del Toro. He was in it for random moments. Like it kind of does help out, obviously, in present day in the second half. And Regina Hall, I think, is in it for the first couple parts in the first half, and she shows up at the end. They have this rebellion against the government or the system, And yeah, it just like for how current things are politically and the economics, the political climate of things, this movie came out much like Civil War did. It came out at a very uneasy time, but still, I thought the second half was great. First half, I don't know what the heck was going on, but in the end, I did like the movie. It just did not make the list because of that fault, that setback. So yeah, that's all my movies. I thank you guys for really sticking around. This video, almost an hour long of me talking randomly, and yeah, The Running Man's coming out soon, which I really hope I enjoy. I love Edgar Wright; he's never disappointed. Wicked 2 is coming out, I think, in November. The Zootopia 2 is coming out. Roofman, I hope to see in a couple weeks. So yeah, there's still a lot of great movies coming out, and that I just this year has been just loaded with films, and it's been phenomenal. So thanks for watching, and please comment below what you thought of any of these movies. Feel free to list your favorites if you've seen any at all, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.